Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. I am Kim Lee. I am Media Relations Manager in the Communications Department here for the city. We're going to have a really quick press conference, if you will. First of all, I do want to say we're here because Cindy this morning announced her selection of Steve Drew as the next Chief of Police for the City of Newport News. He is currently Deputy Chief for the City of Richmond for Patrol Operations and Business Services, and he will start here on July the 2nd. Those of you in the media received the news release. One thing that I did not include in the news release that I would appreciate if you could include in your reporting is we are going to have a community reception for the new chief next Wednesday evening. It's going to be here in this room. It will run from 6:30 in the evening to 8 o'clock. It'll be open to the public. Anyone who wants to come by and meet Chief Drew is welcome to stop by. So, for today, we're going to have Cindy, the city manager, Cindy Rolfe, come up and say a few words about the process, and Steve, and then Steve is going to speak, and then we'll open it up to any questions.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here this afternoon. We appreciate your interest, and I'm not going to call this an announcement since you've all probably known for a while, but we'll term this to be more of an introduction to Steve Drew, our new Chief of Police for the City of Newport News. I'd like for this process to be informal. As I said, it's just an announcement. It's an opportunity for you to ask me questions, to ask Steve questions, but I thought I'd just start out making a few comments and then we can go from there. But I said I'd like to keep it pretty informal for you. As Kim mentioned, Steve has been selected to be the new Police Chief of the City of Newport News. He does come to us as Deputy Chief from the City of Richmond. Steve, we're more than excited to have him joining our team in Newport News. I can tell you he did go through a rigorous assessment process and some also rigorous interviews that included myself and a number of other people. I am very pleased to have, as I said, Steve joining the team. My selection was based on a number of factors, some which I will let you know is his years of experience with the City of Richmond and working in a community that faces similar challenges that we face in the City of Newport News. I was also very impressed with some of the success that he has had and been a part of in Richmond in dealing with some similar issues and putting into place some initiatives and some policing practices to help reduce crime in Richmond. So very excited about that. Another factor was Steve's he's a strong proponent of community partnerships and community engagement, and I think that's critical as the police department moves forward to have those relationships with our citizens and in the community. I was also very pleased with his comments on the professionalism of the Newport News Police Department. He was very familiar with the department, had done his homework, and spoke very highly of the department and the work that you're already doing, and his excitement of being a part of the Newport News team. I think his commitment and what he had demonstrated to us, to the police officers, the men and women who are out there every day serving the community, I think it was unparalleled in the comments that I heard. I think he'll be a valuable member of my management team and your management team as well. He shares my philosophy, and I have said this for a number of years, that the well-being and the safety in our neighborhoods and our communities is not just a police department issue. It's an issue for everyone in the city, the citizens, and all of our departments. It doesn't matter if it's the police department, if it's economic development, if it's public works, if it's codes compliance. We all have to work together to ensure that our communities are safe and healthy. And that is one of the major factors that I had also in terms of working with Steve. As I said, he shares that philosophy, and I'm looking forward to him playing a vital role on that team when we move forward. So with that, I will say if Steve wanted to make any comments. Sure you do.
Sure.
And then we'll take some questions, and I said as informal as we can be.
Well, good afternoon. It's okay. Everybody breathe. It's all right. First, I want to thank everyone for coming here today, for taking the time. I know everybody has a busy schedule. Before I start, I do want to say I'm very humbled the comments I made earlier, I'm very humbled to have this opportunity and very appreciative. This is a world-class organization, a world-class city, and I am very fortunate to be selected here to be part of this organization and lead us as we go further. I would be remiss if I didn't mention my friend Chief Mike Grinstead. I spent a lot of time with him. We had great conversations today. And Mike, I just want to say from interacting with officers that I met today, they spoke very, very highly of you. And you've done a fantastic job, and I want to thank you for the service to this department and this community and the time that you spent with me today. So I appreciate that, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve.
As we go forward, you're going to see some differences. You're going to see some changes. We're going to have a heavy influence on community engagement with our citizens, our neighborhoods, our businesses, our faith leaders. And I kind of keep this in a separate category. We are going to interact with the youth of this city. We're going to do a lot of things proactively interacting with our youth. They need to understand what we do and why we do it. And I think we do a good job of that in law enforcement. We're able to go into neighborhoods and handle situations. We're able to shut things down and prevent things from escalating. But sometimes we don't do the best job of why. And I want to make sure that our community understands that they understand what we're trying to do and why we're doing it. And to play those roles out, we build partnerships, we build trust. We're going to have a very transparent department. Everything that I have heard already is we're on a good track with that. We're going to keep that. That's going to be something that we continue to focus on. We're not going to give secrets away to the secret cases, but we are going to be transparent. We're going to tell our story. Our media relations here in our own organization is going to highlight what we're doing and why we're doing it. We're going to be open. We're going to have good communications with the media in this city. I have heard very good reviews of that interaction, and I want to keep that going. Before we take any questions, when I look at this organization and the 25 years that I've had in Richmond, I look at all the technology, all the assets that cities have, the money that's spent in developments, but the best resource that your police department has, the best resource that the Newport News Police Department has are the officers that come to work every day and put on that uniform and stay here to come out at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and do the job and protect this city. We are going to continue to do that. We're going to highlight that. We are going to be very much working with our community, our businesses, our faith leaders. I want to bring everyone to the table. My philosophy on leadership is we're going to have a team approach. If I'm the only one coming up with ideas, I'm the only one doing the thinking. I value each and every one of these individuals. From Mike, the years, and Joe, the years of service that they have in this organization, to the newest officer riding that beat at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. I want to know what they think. What can we do better? We've got 450 officers in this organization, or close to it. Each one of those plays a role in reducing crime and engaging the community in this city. So I'm very fortunate again to be here. I want to thank you for this opportunity. I am excited. I've been down here several times. I've looked around the city and I've talked to citizens. And I am encouraged by what I hear about the progressiveness, the way the city's moving forward, of comments that they talk about their law enforcement. I spent some time with Eric being down here before and just interacting with citizens and being around. And this is a world-class organization. We're going to continue to move forward, but I'm going to need your help. Every one of these officers I'm going to be counting on. We're going to do this together as a team and move forward. At the end of the day, I know the responsibility and some of the decisions are going to be on my shoulders, and I accept that. But I want this city to be proud of each and every officer that works in this organization, and I want them to be proud of this police department. These guys are committed. These guys and women that work this job are committed to this city, and I am thoroughly impressed just in the short time I've been here with the comments. We got to talk with the command staff this morning, and that is a committed group of individuals. I am very impressed, and I am stepping into a world-class organization. I can't say that enough. 25 years in the Richmond Police Department, I had a great deal of experience working in diverse communities, high crime levels, and we made some inroads there. We're going to do the same thing here. Not only are we going to engage with our community and our citizens, we are going to reduce crime in this city. We are not going to allow the criminal element to come in here and prey on the good citizens of Newport News. We are going to be aggressive in reducing crime. We are going to find creative ways to do that, but we are going to do it. I want to make sure that everyone understands that we're going to reduce crime in this city, we're going to build strong partnerships, and we're going to engage our citizens and our youth. With that, again, I just want to say thank you for being here today. I am very humbled and very fortunate to stand here and work with this organization. Ms. Roth, I want to thank you for this opportunity. And if it's okay, we'll take a few questions, but I don't want to hold people up. Yes, sir.
What are some of the similarities that you see between Richmond and here, and how do you think that could help?
I think one of the differences, we'll start there, is the linear layout of Newport News. But as far as the areas that I've looked at, probably for the last couple weeks, the areas that we drove around today, some of the neighborhoods, there are similarities. Some condensed poverty in certain locations. Some of the crimes numbers, I looked at the number of homicides that we sort of average here in Newport News. The gun violence, those are things that I'm used to dealing with. We made some good inroads in Richmond, and some of those strategies we're going to put in place here. But I think you have a good head start. I think at the end of the day, it's really going to be commitment and working together. I need citizens, right? 400 officers, 400 plus officers in the city of Newport News, but 180,000 plus citizens. That's our eyes and ears, and that's our best. We have to build good inroads. They help us solve crime quicker, and they give a good closure rates to make sure that we understand what those crimes are. But I want to make sure that they understand what we're doing and why we're trying to do it. But that's going to be the biggest thing that I will draw from Richmond. Diverse neighborhoods, being creative, new ideas. We can't do things like we did in 1985. We have to change a little bit. We don't have drug dealers standing on street corners like we had when I started. You know, we're not going into neighborhoods, and when I started 25 years ago, we made an arrest and then we left. Citizens now want us to solve problems. They want us to make their neighborhoods better. We can only do that with their input. The foundation of any good police department has got to be community engagement and the interaction that we have with citizens. And I think that we have a good foothold on that here, but I want to increase it and continue to push it and find new ways to interact with the citizens of our community. Yes, sir.
What are some of the challenges you see as far as building those community relationships here in Newport News, and how do you overcome any challenges you foresee?
Trust and transparency. I think that community is watching everything that we do, how we respond to crime, how fast we move on crime and increases and decreases. How do we respond to that, and how do we explain what's happening? If our response is going to be, well, that crime happened and there's not much we can do about it, that's not going to go well with me, and it's not going to go well with our community. So I think they have to trust us. They have to know that we care about them, and I think that's the first start. And that's one thing that we will push heavy in our organization, that citizens need to know that this police department cares about their concerns and their issues, that we're not just responding to a call and doing a report and filing it away, that we're there to improve the quality of life of those citizens, right, to improve their neighborhoods. But they've got to help us. And I think that's sometimes a challenge. People sometimes are afraid to come forward. They're in fear. But they've got to trust us. We're going to be transparent, but we've got to earn their trust. That doesn't just come with showing up in a car and a badge. We've got to earn that. But I need the community members to play a role as well. Public safety is everybody's responsibility. I don't want citizens to be afraid of what's going on in their neighborhoods. I want them to know if they call us, that we're going to respond and we're going to handle those situations, but work together. But I think that's the biggest challenge in any police department today. When you look at the culture of how we're looked at and officers feel how they're looked at and scrutinized, they need to know that they're going to have a department and a chief that supports them and backs them, and that's what we're going to do here. We're going to hold people accountable, but I want people to be creative. I want ownership, not only of officers in those neighborhoods, but the citizens who live there. Working together, I think we can make a big difference and reduce crime. But getting citizen buy-in, I think, is always the biggest challenge.
Sir, you've also been known to implement community response teams and street teams. Are you going to be looking to bring more of those here as well?
I think that I'll do a good 30-day analysis of what we've had. I spent some time with the command staff and talked about some of the things that they have in place. I'm encouraged. I think you're well ahead of the game here in Newport News. I think they have some fantastic strategies. But we are going to do some things, tweak things, make things a little different. There will be some changes. They're not going to happen overnight, but we're going to talk about them. We're going to try some things. We may try some things in certain parts of the city. I need every resident to know, whether you're in the far north or the deep south, that we're going to treat every citizen and we're going to patrol and respond to every community the same. They've got to have faith in this organization. It doesn't matter to me where they live or status. We're going to patrol and protect those citizens and serve them just like we would anywhere else. But I do want to bring some things when we talk about response teams. I look at that two ways. One is very proactive against drugs, guns, and violence in our city, but also healing. And I don't think that can just come from the police department. I'm going to be leaning on Ms. Roth and Mr. Archer to utilize city resources, that when we have a traumatic event in a neighborhood, that we're going to walk that neighborhood. I'm going to ask faith leaders and business owners to walk with us. Human services. Sometimes citizens will talk more to someone else that they're familiar with, pastors that they may have a connection with. What are the issues? What are the concerns? I've got to get them to open up. But at bare minimum, at the end of the day, we're putting our hand in a citizen's hand, we're knocking on their front door, we're giving them a card, a number, and we're letting them know we care about them. And when we do that, you really are opening the doors, and good things can happen. So that's going to be, when we talk about some of those response things, you're going to see overt and covert operations. I'm a big fan of officers on bicycles and interacting with the community. And I believe I believe wholeheartedly that the officers that patrol those beats, that they know the issues in those neighborhoods. You know, detectives know how to solve crimes. We just got to give them the resources and the tools to do it, and I just want the community to come along and play a part. That's going to help us solve crime quicker, and it's going to help us solve crime and reduce crime in this neighborhood, in this community.
Ms. Rawl, question for you. Just, can you share any insight into just the process and how many people you wound up interviewing and that kind of thing?
We started the process, we hired a consultant, and it was Developmental Associates. I want to make sure I get the correct title. It was Developmental Associates. They assisted us through the process. We did have, I think it was about 20 applicants, and we had sent 6 of those applicants through the assessment process.
Can you say how many of those were internal applicants?
I'm sorry, I could be,
Can you say how many of those were internal applicants?
I'm not going to speak to that. I do want to note also that we have talked about, and we will be having our initial meeting with the public, kind of a meet and greet will be next Wednesday, as Kim said, from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. But we've already got in the works some other opportunities to just go out into the community, whether they're community events, where the folks are gathering, even between the time before Steve starts over the course of the next month. If it's a community event, our council members have regular community meetings. We're going to get him out there and engaged in meeting the council members and meeting the citizens and listening to them in terms of their issues. So it won't just be one public session.
Okay, there are no more questions. Thank you all for coming.